Hi, in this third unit about jobs in the information technology field, we will speak about software development. The IT professionals involved in the development of software applications can be generically called software engineers. Software engineers design and develop various types of software, including computer operating systems, business applications, computer games, industrial control systems, or the embedded software that controls devices as smartphones or cars. They apply the theories and principles of computer science and the procedures of engineering. And with this, they create, test, and evaluate the software. Software engineers can be broadly classified as system software engineers, that are the ones that make the software that interacts directly with hardware, for example, drivers or operating systems, and application software engineers that create applications that interact with the user and access the hardware using the services of this operating system created by system software engineers. When working in big software projects, a previous analysis stage is needed to structure and control the development process. This work is done by senior software engineers that are known as software analysts or application architects. Software analysts and application architects meet with application users, study business processes, and then create the application framework for software developers to work. They define how data is going to be organized, how it's going to be stored, the flow of information within the application, and how the interaction with the user is going to be, among other things. Depending on the size of the project, several specialized analysts can be involved in the design. For example, business system analyst or data analyst, and many others. A bachelor or master's in information systems, information technology, software engineering, computer science, or in a related field is required. Once software architects have created the application framework, software developers, that they are also called computer programmers sometimes, but there is some controversy on this, they translate their specifications, the specifications of the software architects, into logical series of instructions that computers can follow. To do this, they code a series of instructions in a programming language, such, for example, C++, Java, Python, or PHP. Depending on the language and the programming environment, this code will be directly executed by the computer, this is in interpret languages, or go through a translation process to convert it in machine code that can be executed by the computer. This is in compiled languages. Some of the duties of the software developers are write, modify, integrate, debug, and test software code, make modifications and corrections to existing programs and small enlargements, and identify and communicate technical problems. One important specialization in the field of software development is software testing. Very often, the work of software developers is thought as the art of programming, but as projects become larger and larger, abilities as testing, debugging, and maintaining the code become more important. As a matter of fact, in big software companies, there is a software testing department. A bachelor degree in computer science or in another discipline with a significant programming component is required. Now we are moving into other professionals that are not software engineers. As an important part of application development, one important part is the design of its interface with humans. This is so important, interface design is so important that it can determine if an application is adopted or abandoned by users. There are a lot of well-documented examples in which a good application was a failure because it had a bad interface and users did not accept it. There are a lot of IT professionals involved in interface design, and they are not software engineers. For example, graphic designers, multimedia designers, interface designers, or usability consultants are the most general definitions, but there are other much more specialized for special jobs. In the case of video game development, as it has a lot in common with digital film creation, we find a lot of other professional profiles that are shared with the film industry. For example, editors, producers, storyboard designers, artists, animators, 3D modelers, or audio engineers. There are even more specialized jobs as, for example, game mechanic designers that design the rules of the games, or level designers. We could include in this group the technical writers that write the application manuals. To end with this unit, we're going to see web development. Web development is a broad term for the work involved in developing a website for the internet or for an intranet, for a private network. Web development can range from developing a very simple static page of plain text, from this simple static page to the most complex web-based internet application, as for example electronic commerce or social network service. Some tasks of web development are related with software development, but others are not. Web creation usually includes web design, HTML and CSS coding, and web content development. These are the basic things of web creation, but it may also include client-side or server-side scripting, web server and network security configurations, or e-commerce development. Among web professionals, web developer usually refers to the non-design aspects of building websites. For example, writing markup or coding. In the area of web development, we can find professionals as, for example, web designer, web developer, JavaScript programmer, server-side developer, e-business developer, web content creator, or web administrator.